Hey everybody, and welcome to my Thanksgiving vlog. I am sort of semi-kicking off Vlogmas with this video the way that we usually do, which is that, as you know, this channel is run by me and my twin sister. Every year we divide up the days of Vlogmas, so one of us will do the odd number days and one of them will do the even number days. This year I have the even number days, which means that I also have the honor of kicking off vlogging season with the sort of Thanksgiving week vlog. I'm really out of practice with vlogging, so I'm really hoping that this week goes well and that I'm able to get lots of footage, but I guess we'll see how this video turns out. Since I didn't do a summer reading wrap-up fall TBR video, I wanted to give you, to start off with this video, 2 5-star book recommendations from the last few months. Well, technically, one of them is a 5-star recommendation and one of them is a 5-star projection, because I haven't really finished it yet. So, the first one that I have to share for you is a book by Andy Burke called Fall for Him. This is a LGBTQ romance. And I actually picked this up for a video that I never ended up posting. I was going to do one video a week in October. I was going to call it Vlogtober. That was going to be my practice round into getting back to vlogging again in preparation for Vlogmas. And it didn't go so well. I filmed a bunch of the things that I wanted to do, but I realized when I was looking back on the videos that I had filmed like not enough footage to post the video, or it would be a long time between me doing the talking portions, and I would have had to go back and like batch film a bunch of stuff, and I just didn't have it in me. So none of those videos saw the light of day, unfortunately, but in one of them I was doing a really cool thing that I saw on the YouTuber Darling Desi's page, where she suggested going on what's called a fall library crawl. So sort of like a bar crawl, except that instead of going to bars, you go to different branches of your district's local library and you find like a spooky or cozy or gothic fall book to check out. And then you just go to a cafe at the end and you like page through all of your finds. I'm still technically, it says I still got a little bit more to go on this, but I have technically read through all of the pages. I'm just going back and rereading what I read too fast. This is a book that I found in one of the branches when I did this for Vlogtober, and it's not actually a fall book. The fall in this, it's not a spoiler, it's in the description on the back and the first page, but the fall here refers to one of these characters falling through the ceiling of the other character's apartment due to like a flooding accident. But it's got like autumn colors, and it's got the word fall, and it looked cozy. I'd never heard of this author. I'd never heard of this book, but I pulled it off the shelf and was like, you know what, we all love a good queer romance sometimes, probably it'll be good. And I started paging through it at the cafe where I ended my library crawl, and immediately I was like, I love this. So, again, I've already kind of read to the end. It just says that I'm still kind of finishing it up, but I am really enjoying this. I really enjoyed this because I've read through all the pages. I'm almost nervous to read another book by this author because what if I don't like it as much as I liked Fall for Him? I want to hear more about both of these characters. The romance is really sweet. There is so much complexity in the baggage that both of these characters have, so there's just a juicy amount of conflict for each of them that just keeps building and building, and some of that conflict relates to things in their past that bring them into conflict with each other, and some of it is family conflict, and some of it is just extra traumatic things that are happening. So the stakes are high in a lot of ways, but the romance is really sweet. The friction between them at the beginning doesn't last for too long, and again, the author does a really good job including these difficult conversations and these moments of miscommunication that they have to navigate. And honestly, Dylan in particular, this guy right here, there are ways that they talk about him and his brain and his ADHD that it was almost uncomfortable reading them, because these are things that I'm realizing about my own brain, and I'm like, I was feeling almost uncomfortable reading about some of the things that he experienced, because I was like, this is making me look at myself a little too closely in a way that I'm not sure I was prepared to do. But anyway, long story short, 5 stars. Go ahead and read it. You're gonna really like it. Okay, and then the other book that is a 5-star projection, I'm not fully all the way through it, or even close enough to all the way through it to say for sure, but I'm pretty darn sure, is Babel by R.F. Kuang, which you might remember has been on my winter TBR from the beginning of this year, and in fact has been on various TBRs of mine since it came out. But I'm finally reading it. I'm about 25% of the way through, which, considering I've been reading this since close to the beginning of November, is really slow for a lot of people. But for me, this is actually really fast to get through 25% of this 544-page book in just a couple of weeks. I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the year. It's dark academia, my first foray, or at least my first official foray into dark academia was If We Were Villains earlier this year, and you might remember that was a 5-star read. This is also, I'm pretty sure, going to be 5 stars. The translation minutia is really interesting to me, the way that they think about words, the way that they deal with words. There's a kind of like revolutionary aspect to it that's intriguing. The characters are really intriguing. I'm trying not to get attached because I know they're going to destroy everything. I like R.F. Kuang's writing style a lot. It's very, I don't know, it's very engaging. And I'm finding increasingly, especially now that I'm on break, that I am like waking up earlier to read this book. I am reading this book during intervals in the day when normally I would say that I didn't have time. I am making time for this book, and that is very clearly a sign that I'm liking it a lot. So I think this is the year of dark academia for me, and that this is going to be another 5-star for this year. And then I'm excited to see what else R.F. Kuang has in store. I own Catabasis. That was going to be on my fall TBR that you guys never saw. And I also own Yellowface. Yellowface is actually the one of R.F. Kuang's that I'm most nervous to read, because I think a lot of what I'm enjoying, not everything that I'm enjoying, but a lot of what I'm enjoying about the world building of Babel is the alternative history, sort of speculative fantasy setting. And Yellowface is very much rooted in the modern world, the real-life modern world with no alternative history. And so I'm just not sure, I can't imagine a non-fantasy setting from her connecting in the same way that this is connecting. But I guess we'll see, because if I own it, it means I'm going to read it at some point. So those are just some recommendations to start us off. What am I doing this Thanksgiving break? Well, a lot of things. Florence and Tristan, her son, are staying over tomorrow night, and we are going to have a great time and just hang out and cook and have fun. And then Thanksgiving is going to be with our family. We go to my cousin's house for Thanksgiving, so we'll watch the Macy's parade here, and then either go over to my parents' house to watch Miracle on 34th Street, which is our traditional Thanksgiving film, or we'll watch it here. And then on Thanksgiving night, when I get back from Thanksgiving dinner, my tradition is always to watch White Christmas. So I'll be doing that. Tomorrow also, I might do some small business shopping in Frederick, Maryland, because there's a lot of cool shops up there. There is a part of me that's wondering whether it might be better to save it for Small Business Saturday, but I haven't decided on that yet. So we'll see what happens. Friday and Saturday, not as many plans. Sunday is usually family time. Basically, I'm hoping to spend a lot of time reading and just making the most of this break, because it has been just an absolutely whirlwind fall, which was what made it so hard to vlog, and I really want to get back into the swing of things, but I also really want to practice vlogging, because I was so disappointed that I wasn't able to carry Vlogmas on my own last year. I know it's not like the worst thing in the world. Florence had just had her baby, and so she wasn't going to be able to share the vlogging. And, you know, you discover through process of elimination, through trial and error, whether you can do that on your own. And it's not the end of the world that I couldn't. But I do feel kind of sad because now when I look back on last year's vlogs, I don't have 24 vlogs from last year to look back on and watch. So I'm glad that she's back this year and that she's taking half of the videos. I'm hoping that this vlog goes well and that I can just blaze right into Vlogmas with as much excitement as humanly possible. So I will see you in the rest of this vlog as we move on into our Thanksgiving week. Hi everybody, I'm sorry if you have to turn your volume up really high for this, but I have to like whisper because Florence is in my spare bedroom putting Tristan to bed. It's the day before Thanksgiving and they're staying over tonight, and I just wanted to come on and say that I'm supposed to be in there. I'm supposed to be accompanying them on bedtime so that I can learn how to do it myself when he stays over. But they had to kick me out of the room because every time, like I was sitting by the door, they were trying to settle him down to go to sleep, and every time he would see me sitting there, he would just like smile so big, and it was so cheesy, and we couldn't get him to go to sleep. So I've been kicked out. I'm out here now waiting for Florence, and then we're gonna have some wine and just like wind down for the night, but I just thought that was so cute. I'm back from Thanksgiving dinner. We had a really great time, and I'm now ready to do my final activity of Thanksgiving night, which is a tradition that I started about, I want to say like somewhere between 3 and 5 years ago, which is that I watch White Christmas every night when I get home from Thanksgiving dinner. Like I said, this started a few years ago. We always watch a vintage film on Thanksgiving. We always watch Miracle on 34th Street because it begins with the Macy's parade. And White Christmas just is a really cozy movie that I have just really enjoyed starting to watch on Thanksgiving night. But before I do it, as you can see, things are not exactly clean around here. Got a lot of stuff going on in here. And it's just feeling a little disorganized in here right now. So what I'm gonna do is, it's just before 8 p.m. so I'm going to run the dishwasher because there's a lot of dishes that need to be done. Might put in a load of laundry and then tidy up in here a little bit so that I can sit down for my movie and not feel like everything is cluttered and out of control. So I wanted to have a holiday hot chocolate just to celebrate the end of Thanksgiving. And I wanted to have one of my marshmallows in it, but I don't have any holiday Christmas marshmallows yet. So we'll be celebrating today with a very timely and seasonally appropriate Day of the Dead skull. that inadvertently, my small business Saturday shopping has become me just being the scout, doing a fact-finding mission on various holiday events in our area to find out what's going on with them. So the first bookstore we went to, we were getting something and finding out when their White Elephant holiday romance swap was going to be. Then I went to a second bookstore and I was there to shop, but I know the people who run it there pretty well by now, and I found out whether or not they're doing their Christmas book bundles this year. And now I'm going to a third town, and while I'm there, I'm going to find out whether they're doing a sort of holiday historic houses tour and how you get tickets for it. So that's basically just my job on this entire Small Business Saturday shopping, is like running lookout and trying to find out the details about all these things that are going on. Oh, hello again, everybody. I'm back from my Small Business Saturday shopping. I didn't get to spend as much time in Frederick as I wanted to. It was packed. That's why there's going to be like no footage of the time I was in Frederick. Every store I went into was like wall-to-wall people. Really shouldn't have gone in the afternoon. But I did want to show you some of the things that I bought. I've weeded out from the pile next to me all the stuff that is gifts. But there's still a fair number of things that I bought for myself. So let's look at them together. Okay, I'm dying because I just noticed when I went back to look at that introductory footage that in this video we're being photobombed by this guy. Do you love him? He's a gnome with a teacup for a hat. My former roommate gave me that, so let's just move him out of the way. He sits here's like the centerpiece of my kitchen table. So anyway, here are the things that I bought on Small Business Saturday for myself. I bought this tea. It's by a company called Color Theory Tea Company. I don't know if you can see that from there. This is called Rainy Bookstore, and it is a black tea with malt, bergamot, and lavender. So I'm looking forward to trying this. I got that at a little indie shop in Frederick, where I also got this hoodie. No, it's not a hoodie, it's a sweatshirt. This says Comfy and Cozy Homebody Club, but I was also drawn to the fact that it says established 1987, which is my birth year. So I too am a comfy and cozy homebody who was established in 1987. This looks, it's like a thinner material, so it's not like a super cold weather sweatshirt, but it is really, really fuzzy on the inside. So I'm looking forward to wearing that. I got both of those things, like I said, at a little boutique store in Frederick. Before that, I went to Mount Airy, and I bought myself this puzzle. It is a puzzle that is different, like antique teacups. So that gets added to my puzzle pile. I'm getting an increasingly significant pile of puzzles over in my, like, game recreation area in my living room. I should probably start doing more of those puzzles. And then, over the course of the day, I bought 3 different books. So, the first one was a romance called Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. I've heard of this book before. I wasn't necessarily explicitly interested in it before, but there is a bookstore in Westminster, Maryland called Rudolph Girls, and they are doing a sort of white elephant holiday romance event. So you go in and you buy a holiday romance, and then on December 30th, you come for the white elephant event, and you discuss the books, and you do a white elephant trade. So this Lovelight Farms is about a Christmas tree farm, trying to save a Christmas tree farm, and someone lies and says that they have a boyfriend and the boyfriend doesn't exist, so their best friend steps in and does a little fake dating situation. I like the writing voice in this, so I'm hoping I'll like it. And if I don't like it, it doesn't matter because I'll be trading it for another book. And then I also in Mount Airy found another holiday romance called Love You a Latka, which is a Hanukkah romance about I have to remember what each of these is about. It's about a woman who's trying to plan a Hanukkah festival, and ends up having to coordinate it with a customer at her shop who has annoyed her for a long time. So that looks really good too. And finally, this is a bit of a callback to the beginning of this video when I was talking about how much I was enjoying Andy Burke's novel Fall for Him. I did actually bite the bullet, and when I was in Frederick, I bought another book by Andy Burke, which apparently has a character from Fall for Him in it. I'm pointing to the other side of the screen because my book is right over there. And there's another person who's like a supporting character in Fall for Him who is the lead of this book. This book is called Fly With Me, and it is about an ER nurse who hates flying but ends up saving a life during a medical emergency on a flight that she's on. And then there is a pilot who asks her to fake date with her. So another queer romance, another fake dating, and it looks charming. It looks fun. We'll see if I like it. That'll be the real test. Is if I like it, then Andy Burke becomes an auto-buy author. And if I don't like it, then who knows. But anyway, I bought that as well. So, very, very productive Small Business Saturday. I have to leave for dinner at my parents' house in a few minutes, but I wanted to make sure that I showed you what I bought.